A family we say because I know everything will come and show to it and your friend. First if you're making money, all leave enough. Last them raised like the sheep, back a little bo peep. Watch them killing evil quit. Don't sleep, cause when you out they sleep you won't see it. Boy, 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 boy. When I call you friend, I see you as my brother. Always lie, but if I can't trust my brother enough, I tell you say I got to go 'cause I know dirty heart can't sweep it room. They are like the trees we can't bloom. They shall surely fade away, and I know dirty heart can't wash it soap. There is no bad mind antidote, and they shall slowly fade away, and anything we no clean and pure, we a cut them out early. Smile them a joke, can't hide them deceitful heart. Know them thoughts dirty. From them no clean and pure, we a cut them up, chop them up early. Smile up in your face, so big disgrace, we know them are dirty. See my friends turn enemy. No one near them, I ask you far. No link, no bar, no link, no bar. When your friends turn the enemy, a bad son. Me say no link, no bar. It don't gone too far. Oh, me and me brother, we go war. Come on, brother. I won't bury you. The Almighty also will defend God, so me understand. Hear me now. No fear, friend. I don't want to talk, man. I don't want to Nico. Hey, follow me now.
Girl this morning, she was love at first sight. Ooh, I met a girl this morning, and she was beauty to my eyes. I asked her where she from, she tell me in the topics. She asked me what's my name, I tell her I am Connie. And I said, girl, tell me what's your name, and she tell me that her name is Jamaica. And I said, smile, girl, smile. Smile for me, Jamaica. And I said, smile, girl, smile. Ooh, Lord, smile for me, Jamaica. And never you cry, here am I. Girl, I'm here for you, Jamaica. Dry your eyes, girl, smile. Smile for me, Jamaica. Lord, hey, she have a rich history. A beautiful woman with the sweetest gifts. Beautiful sunrise and an evening kiss of a nice sunset on the evening season.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for your patience. And thank you for joining us today for this very creative experience. It's not often that we get a lot of forums that focus on acting and the actor's experience in the film and TV industry, whether here or overseas. So this is a refreshing take because, as we know, there are a lot of creative talents that go towards making film and TV productions possible behind the camera, producers, screenwriters, directors, and all the other myriad of cast of crew. But equally responsible is the amazing talent in front of the camera. Those are those actors that bring the characters and the stories to life. Today we'll be joined, as you know, by Micheal Hyatt. And as many of you know, she's also the daughter of Charles Hyatt, the late Charles Hyatt, and an acclaimed actress in her own right. Micheal gave a talk at Edna Manley a few years ago, and we're very grateful for the opportunity to have her speak again and share her experience. And we're happy as well that JAFTA and Manifesto Jamaica and Good News Jamaica were able to facilitate that interaction. Because that's really what this is today. It's an interaction, not a presentation. It's a conversation where you're not only going to get to hear Micheal share her experience, but you can get to share yours, ask any burning questions, and we hope that you come away not only inspired, but with something to build on. Because our respective associations, that's what we're about in terms of collaboration, building community, building conversations, so that we can share and grow and help to build viable industries. So after this, Noelle Carr, who is a Jamaican actress, producer, and a director of JAFTA, she will be helping to guide the conversation with Micheal, or as Noelle says, to help her be free, and then that will be followed by the Q&A. So before that, I'm going to invite you to watch a reel of Micheal's dramatic and comedic performances. So I'm going to ask you to sit back and enjoy, and look forward to a wonderful discussion. Thank you.
Yeah. Ray Donovan?
Racketeering and prostitution. My brother's not a pimp.
Sure he is.
Bullshit.
Mr. Donovan, as long as I've been handling your father, Brendan's been working for him. I've got him on 17 counts of pimping and pandering. That's 7 years with good behavior, if I charge him.
You want to use him to go after my father? What if I can find him?
How are you gonna do that?
If I find him and bring him back to you, will you let my brother go?
You wanna trade your brother for your dad?
Any day of the fucking week.
Okay, Mr. Donovan. Bring your father in, and I'll let the groom go.
Can I talk to him first?
2 minutes and you're on your way. There's a lot of love in your life, Rebecca. If you opened your heart to the possibilities of all kinds of love, something good might happen. Spent so much time obsessing about this one here, you've lost sight of everything else. And everyone else.
I've just been dreaming about him for so long. Like most of my life. He is the dream ghost.
But he is an illusion, just like I am. Maybe it's time you see what else is in your life, besides Josh Jam. Wake up, Rebecca.
What's the matter? Your boss moved off all this. Pretty cleanly, too.
That's my point. We close the Vinci investigation, and Geldof announces the governor's run with a suddenly massive war chest.
So he had his hand out. That what this is? You holding your hand out? Where's my cut?
A real attorney general could do a lot of good in this state.
And she got to you with her missing girl, and you, what? You just looking for trouble?
I need to be in the field. I'm not happy either how things played.
Geldof's actions are the clearest indication of collusion between the Vinci power structure and the larger state institutions.
And it wouldn't hurt your job prospects. Having dirt on the future governor?
I'm putting together a confidential special investigation. Stated goal is to track down Irina Rufo. Girl who pawned that shit, brought you all to this place. You know she was never brought in.
What's the real purpose?
Finding out who killed Casper. Uncovering evidence of collusion between Vinci PD, Mayor's Office, AG, and any other state bodies.
You know I'm not a cop anymore.
You have your PI license, I checked. I could detail you as a state attorney's investigator into a missing person. I need people who aren't gonna ping on our radar. Word gets out what we're looking for, they could shut it down like last time. You wanna know what I think?
Yes, please.
I think you withheld information. I think you saw the two men in the murder house in Granada Hills, and you saw the car, and you sat on it to get something you could film. What do you think about that?
I think that would be a very unprofessional thing for me to do in my business.
It would be murder.
I can understand why you're looking into it, but I didn't do anything like that. Nothing that could be considered wrong.
You don't fool me for a minute.
I'm glad.
I think everything you said is a lie.
I wish my partner was here to back up what happened.
You left your dead partner.
Well, the ambulance has arrived. They're trained professionals.
Yeah, and you seem real broken up about that.
No, he died doing what he loved.
You filmed him dying.
Thank you all so much for coming. Oh, either one. Whichever one you want. Oh, she wants to. Okay. This is yours. Thank you. Hi, beautiful people. Hi, everyone. I've been tasked with a wonderful task, I should say, of introducing and basically just, here to nudge you now and then if you feel you need a nudge when you share your journey. So I'd just like to open by saying, to quote Jeff Seymour, for me, great acting begins when an actor is so believable that I forget I'm watching an actor acting. I get so swept up in the sincerity of their work that I accept them as the character they are portraying. And for me, that truly describes Micheal Hyatt. She was born in England to Jamaican parents, her mother Vera, an art historian and museologist, and her father Charles Hyatt, as you know, the late great Charles Hyatt, who was an actor, broadcaster, and comedian here. She moved to the States when she was 10, and later went on to study acting at Howard University and at New York University's Tisch School of the Arts for her master's. From Ragtime on Broadway to the critically acclaimed The Wire, Micheal has accomplished what many of us dream of, a career as a working actor, and one that is proud to be an international actor. To quote her bio, although Micheal is automatically considered an African American because of her international background, she eagerly acknowledges that she's more specifically an African, British, Jamaican American. And any attempt to exclude any part of that reality would be an incorrect representation of who she truly is. And it is that very connection to Jamaica and her love of acting that has brought her home to us again. Please welcome Micheal Hyatt. This is so strange to be sitting here listening to all of that. Forgive me, I am incredibly shy. Yeah. Okay.
Tell us how your journey began.
Wait, no. I feel that, and yes, we totally will share that. But I feel I've been saying this to a couple of people that I've been interacting with. This visit, this thing started, this trip started for me, and I'm saying this because I feel very strongly that there is a vibrational shift that is happening. I think in the world, really. I feel it in the States. I just recently went to the UK, went to London, and it is absolutely happening there. And I feel it here from just talking to the few people that I've been speaking with in the short time. There is a shift. It happens like every 10, 20 years where there is a consciousness, a cultural consciousness, a racial consciousness that demands to be recognized, and the industry accommodates it. It can't help but, because art imitates life imitates art. It happened. We have many examples of it throughout, certainly the American film and television history.
you know, we had the blaxploitation films in the States, and then of the 60s and 70s, and then in the 80s there was the CW and UPN, where, you know, it was, you know, in hindsight, pretty much Chitlin Circuit kind of TV that was happening, and then that went away, and then this now Black is in Vogue thing that is happening, and I've experienced the different things, the different shifts in consciousness here too in this country. I remember when, no, not remember when, Mommy would tell me stories about, you know, when Mom and Dad married and Daddy was looking for work, and he decided the best choice at the time was to move to England. And it was a struggle for him, being an African man, but then being a light-skinned African man, but he did it for 20-odd years. And there came a time, you know, he and Michael Manley and whoever the people were at the time, forgive me for not calling everybody's name, would sit down and chat, just like they did in the Harlem Renaissance. You know, E.B. Du Bois and all of the names that we know would sit up in Harlem and just chat, vibrate with each other. And through that came what we understand the Harlem Renaissance. Jamaica had that as well. Michael at some point came to Daddy and to the different artists and said, bring your skills back to Jamaica and let us build up our country. And they all did, right? And that is what we have from the 70s. That is the Jamaica that I grew up in. Going to the theater, Mommy working at the National Gallery when it was Devon House, and just being exposed to all of these artists. I mean, Edna Manley coming over to the house because I had asthma and she had asthma, and she would bring all of her books and stuff to help me with, you know, how to help Mommy with how to best, you know, treat it for me. And I was just surrounded by this energy of art. Going to JBC and going into the control room, and I accidentally press a button and everybody come running because something I did stopped, something. But what I'm saying is, there was just this vibration of yes, and everybody fed off of each other. They brought their skills, their passion, their yes, not having any example of what is going to happen, but just knowing that something needed to happen. And we had the art, we had the talent to make it happen. And that is what we had then. And I believe that that is what we are developing now. And I'm not saying that it hasn't been there, but I feel that there is some kind of magnet, there is some kind of vibration that is happening that is bringing all of you all together. I was talking with Justine about JAFTA. What a wonderful opportunity for artists in the film and television industry to recognize each other and appreciate each other and bring all of your skills together to create Jamaican productions. Instead of looking always at America or at England or at wherever and seeing the greatness of what they do, but living in that greatness within yourselves. That is what I find so beautiful. And it has always been my desire, because this is where my art began, to bring it back here in some way, to communicate, be a part of the art in this country, and to share whatever it is I have with whomever is interested in listening, because this is where it all started for me. Gosh, you know, the beginning. Who was here at the last one? Is everybody brand new? Because I feel like I'm repeating myself. Okay. You know, like I said, my beginning was here. When I was 10, Mom and Dad separated, and there was only so far that Mommy could go in the National Gallery. She wanted to, you know, she just wanted to do more, and there wasn't the opportunity here. And so she decided to further her schooling. They had done the England before, and they knew that world, and so Mommy decided there was a shift, and she decided to take it to America. She knew a couple of people in DC. She was introduced to the Smithsonian, and she was able to get a job there, an entry-level job there, and she was able to go to school. She did some sort of program where she was able to do her master's and her get her bachelor's and her master's and her doctorate in a short period of time at Howard University. So we moved to DC. I think I was a teenager. She must have seen, you know, when I was a kid, I would write plays. You know, my favorite show was Little House on the Prairie, and I would write any kind, I would just write. I would just like to write stuff. And my brother, and I don't know if my sister did, but my brother and I would act it out. And and somewhere along the line, she was introduced to, Mommy was introduced to a Jamaican performing arts group called Caribbean Heritage Group. And so we would go around Maryland and DC, and sometimes different states in the East Coast, drive there and come back the next day, doing dances or doing folk songs, whatever the people would. I just needed to do something. I auditioned for the high school performing arts program, and I didn't get in because I didn't sing well enough in their opinion. I wasn't thinking about acting then. I just knew how to sing and dance because that's what I was doing with the Caribbean Heritage Group. But it wasn't working. And then I was a terrible student, and had really no real desire to go to college. I just really wanted to graduate. These earrings are hurting me, I'm taking them off. Had no real desire to go to college, but Mommy knew that it was vital that I get a college education, and she filled out the application and sent it in, and on graduation day in the summer, because I didn't pass regular and I had to go to summer school, whatever, she said to me, you have been accepted at Howard, you're going, it starts on Monday, you know. Okay. But I got there, when I got there, she was, you know, she was a legacy. She had gotten her degree in fine arts, and I got there, and the chairman of the drama department sat me down and said, "Look, let's just be real. You're here because of your mother, and we all know that. But if you stay here, it will be because of you. So make a decision. What do you want to do?" And in that moment, something shifted in me. I had always, because of the lovingly unhealthy relationship I had with my father, he wasn't around much and he didn't provide for us. And in my mind, being an artist meant being financially irresponsible, right? You couldn't do both. If you were going to pursue this and be an artist, that means you couldn't have a family and you couldn't be there for your family and you couldn't. So that was always my understanding of this thing that we do. But I also felt that it was my calling. When I got to Howard and I saw the stage, the Ira Aldridge Theater, something just clicked in me. And I realized that this is what I was supposed to do with the rest of my life. I didn't really know what that meant, but even if it meant struggle, then that is what I'm going to have to do, because I truly believe I'm supposed to be here. I get it. I can't have a family because art and family and responsibility and artists don't work. So, okay, I won't have a family. I'll wait, but I have to be an artist because that's what is in my blood. And so I did this thing. I studied and I was terrible. The only thing that made sense is when I was on stage, when we were rehearsing for something. Anyway, I got bored with school. I started doing, oh, no, forgive me. There was something, I was in an acting class, and I don't remember the name of the play, but I was doing this monologue, and you know that point, it doesn't matter whether you're an actor or not, but that point in when you're working on a piece where it clicks, where it becomes really an out-of-body experience. And it's no longer you doing it, it is happening through you. That happened, and it scared me so much. It was so powerful, it was so magical and intense, but it wasn't something that I felt in control of. And I always, you know, I wasn't comfortable being out of control. And so I jumped back and I didn't act for the rest of the school year. We had to do practicums, we had to study costume, and we had to do makeup, and we had to do lighting. And so I focused on lighting. I did a whole bunch of lighting. I learned a lot about lights. I lit every blasted show. And then when I became a master electrician, and then I would get jobs in the theaters. What do they call them? I forgot what they call them right now. But in the theaters within DC, some of the major theaters in DC, and I would do lighting or I would do costume. It just was too scary for me. But I remember my job was to change. They were doing Our Town, and I was in the wings changing the actors as they were doing quick changes, and I was always peeking to see the work that was going on stage. Again, hungry for it, but just not ready. I always needed to be close and be there, but just not ready. Anyway, so there was somebody, I had become friends with the administration at Arena Stage then, and they were auditioning for something, and I got up the gusto. Oh yeah, no. So how did it work? Because I was in the theater community in DC, somebody told me about an internship, a Shakespeare internship at the Folger, which was a major rep. What is that? I don't remember the name of it. So I did this internship at the Folger. I'm still in school, I'm still registered for school, but couldn't do it. So I do this internship, and it was magical. It was absolutely magical. And I asked one of the people when I was working at Arena, can I audition for that thing? And they said, well, the truth is we don't hire local actors. We hire from New York. That's where we get our actors. I said, oh, okay. Well, I'm out. I'm gone to New York. I didn't finish my degree, but fuck it, I gotta go. Because if that's where the work is, that's where I have to be. And I left. I left and I started, still scared, but something kept calling me, do you know? I hustled in New York for a couple of years. And my mother kept nagging me that I had to finish my degree. But I knew I wasn't going back to Howard. So figure out a way for me to finish my degree and not go back to Howard, because I'm not going back. found a school in New York City that Howard would accept the last credit that I missed, the theater history. They would accept the credits from that thing. So I took my last bit of credits at that place, and I went back and I got my degree, and that was, made my mom happy. And then, let me say, this is just me. I don't know, everybody has a different understanding of religion and spirit and God and whatever your journey is. I understand that everything in my life has been divine guidance, right? And as I look back on my life, even when I was completely clueless, in hindsight, I can understand that I was being guided through every damn step. And it has helped me now that I have that consciousness, that I really am being guided, and there aren't any coincidences, there aren't any just happened so. It's helped me a great deal in the choices that I make now, so that when things come up, I allow myself to just say yes. I don't need to know the how, I don't need to know the where, the why, the what, the who, the what. Just say yes, and it will fall into place. Anyway, all right, so I'm in New York, and I'm working at a department store, and there's a publication for actors, for actors in New York called Backstage. It comes out on a weekly basis, and you look for auditions. They're called cattle calls, where you and 1,000 other people are going to audition for this whatever it is, for a thing in Central Park, or a thing in, somewhere Brooklyn, and they don't have any money to pay you, but they'll give you a token to ride the train, or you pay them $35 and you get to be on stage. I mean, just crazy stuff. But that's what we do, right? Any opportunity we can get to be artists until we get the right thing. So I did that for a while, and it became very clear to my being, once again, there was a voice that was saying, this is not where you belong. Okay, whatever. Heard about an internship, working on a Spike Lee film, to be a PA, the lowest on the totem pole. I said, okay, that means I'll be on set. I'll be on a film set. Then that's what I need. I've never been on a film set before. My whole life has been theater. So I said, yes, I'll do it. And because I had my SAG card, because of a commercial I did, a Maryland lottery commercial that I booked by accident, I had my card, and they liked me so much that they allowed me to be an extra. Because I had my card, so I was paid $700 a day to be an extra and be a PA on this set. Fabulous. Then somebody, I heard, that somebody was, yes, I had a boyfriend then. Yeah, there's the earthly explanation, and then there's the spirit guidance explanation. I had a boyfriend then who was not the healthiest relationship. He was seeing other ladies, and he told me that Demetria, the lady that he was seeing, was auditioning for the grad program at NYU. Now, I didn't tell you. When I was at the internship in DC, many of my instructors were instructors at Juilliard. And they all said to me, Michael, you should audition for Juilliard. I mean, I totally think you would be a great student there, blah, blah, blah. So, and I'm in New York now, I'm hustling in New York doing my thing, and I auditioned for Juilliard. It was a great audition. I get a call back. I go to the second call back. We're down to like 6 people or some shit. And I didn't get in. And one of the teachers called me and, Michael, I'm so sorry that you didn't get in, and I just need you to know that has nothing to do with your art, it has nothing to do with your talent, it's just that we think you're too fat. and we think you're too nasal, and that we didn't think that you would be able to handle the program being your size and being as nasal as you were. And you can imagine how that must have punched me in the stomach for a long time. Because then I understood that in order to be successful in this industry, you had to be thin. And I don't know what I'm gonna do about my nasality. I mean, I don't, so does that mean that I can't do this thing? That is my calling, so for a long time I had to work through that. But I was forced to develop that thick skin that we all artists have to develop in order to keep moving, right? Because 75 or 85% of the time, we're gonna be told no. We're gonna be told that we're too fat, too short, too thin, too tall, too just not enough, or too much, or the phrase that is used now, we're just going in a different direction, right? So what does that mean? We gotta keep going, right? Because we have to believe that at some point, somebody's gonna say yes. And that's what I did. Anyway, so somebody told me, yes, Kevin told me that Demetra was auditioning for NYU. And well, if she's gonna audition for it, be damned if I'm not gonna at least try. And I auditioned, and I got in. And but that's the earthly explanation. But as I was saying, when I was doing that backstage thing, the publication, you go to these auditions, and you're like 1 in 1,000, and you're getting paid tokens. There was something in me that knew that this is not where I was supposed to be. There is something bigger for me. So in hindsight, I didn't know what was going on then, but all of a sudden I find myself at NYU, which happens to be, by the way, one of the top leading schools in the country. What the hell am I doing here? But I'm here. And as a result of being there, when you graduate from that program, they do this performance called Leagues. And because it's one of the top schools, all of the agents and the casting directors in Los Angeles and in New York, they come and they see this performance by the graduating class. And each person writes down, their interest in you. And at the end of it, you get a packet of a list of all the casting directors who would like to have a meeting with you, a list of all the agents and managers who want to have a meeting with you. And that was the beginning of my professional career, right? Didn't see it coming. Didn't even understand that it existed. But what I knew was there was something more that was meant for me. And you just keep saying yes. Cut to several years hustling my tail and getting many, many years of, I graduated in '97, and you did Shakespeare in the Park, and you did Law and Order. Anybody who lived in New York who had an ounce of skill, you did Law and Order, whether it be SVU or Victims, something. You did Law and Order. And I just kept auditioning for anything that I could get, and it was crickets for a while. I remember I was a coat check girl. Which paid actually quite well. I moved to Pennsylvania with my partner then, and I was a home health aide. Oh my goodness, I had no nursing skills, and I made sure they knew that. I was like, do you understand? I'm an actor. I don't know how to take care of the elderly. I remember I had a client who, they needed their catheter changed, and I called the offices like, you do know I'm an actor, right? I don't know what I'm doing. But, the laws weren't very strict there, so they taught me how to pull the thing out and push it back in and take care of it. But I just needed to, obviously I needed to work. And then in the midst of that, an audition came up, and I hadn't worked in a long time, and I got it, and that was The Wire. And I did The Wire for I don't know how many years. It was just a job. It was just the next thing, the next chance to work. And then it morphed into, you know, what we understand The Wire to be in America. I don't know if The Wire came over here. And then after The Wire, again, I was in this unhealthy relationship with another gentleman, and I bought a house in the Poconos, you know, and the relationship ended, and my manager said, you know, I think it's time for you to move to LA, to Los Angeles. It scared the shit out of me, the idea, because I had this opportunity for The Wire. I now knew the camera, right? I now knew the film and television industry, and I wanted in so much. So when she said, it's time to move to LA, it scared, I knew immediately when she said it that it was true, that it was time. But it scared me so much because I saw it as, you either make it here or you don't. There's nowhere else to go. I've done theater. Oh yeah, right, I did Broadway too. I've done theater, I know theater like the back of my hand, but theater can't pay me the way I need to get paid, and I want a wider audience. So what do? I moved into TV and film. I did all that there was in New York. What do? I gotta go to LA. But LA was a completely different beast. Everybody I knew lived on the East Coast, lived in New York. My mother, well, you know, I moved out to New York on my own, but my mom, you know, it was only a 4-hour drive away. My brother lived in Maryland. My mom lived in Maryland. What am I gonna do in Los Angeles? But I gotta go, because that's where the work is, and that's where my calling is, do you know? So I left. I left again. You know, we sold the house and we split the things, and I thought that I was gonna start all over again, you know? Just start pounding the pavement like I did in New York. And I got off the plane, and literally, as I was coming down and getting my bags, my manager called me and says, you have an audition for the West Wing. Oh, okay. Shit. Yes, let's do it. And I truly figured, all right, well, this is just an opportunity to, because they told me, she made the mistake, or not the mistake, actually I think it was a beautiful thing that she told me. She said, look, it's a role that was actually written for Angela Bassett, but she doesn't want to do it anymore, so they're trying to find somebody else to, okay, come on. All right, fine, whatever. So I'm not really gonna get this part. This is just something, you know, I'll introduce myself to the casting director, and you know, this is pounding the pavement. This is what you do. And I went in there with absolutely no expectation of getting the job, just wanted to show my work. And I do think, again, in hindsight, that it is that exact reason that allowed me, to freed me up, to not think, because I didn't give a shit, because the role wasn't mine. And because of that, I was able to do my best work, and I got the part. Got the part after 2 weeks of being in Los Angeles. Okay, didn't expect that. It threw me into the television world, and I had no buffer. I had no, and here come all the fears again. All of the, you're too fat, all of the demons in my head of you're too fat, you're too this, you're too that, you know, right. Along the way there, when I graduated NYU, I had locks down my back, and was very proud of my locks, and I, you know, it was a very big part of me. But when we did the leagues and I had the meetings with my managers and stuff, one of the things they said to me, one of the things she said to me, she said, absolutely, you're gonna be a star, you're gonna be fabulous, you're gonna be wonderful. You need to cut your hair, you need to fix your teeth, you have a space in your teeth, you need to fix your teeth, get rid of the mole, and you need to lose weight. Okay, so let's go. You know, I remember Juilliard, you're too fat, you're too nasal. I have a manager who says you're gonna be a star if you lose weight, cut your hair, fix your teeth, and lose a mole, and lose weight. And constantly fighting against all of those things, right? Because within me, I knew there was a yes. This is going to work. It will work. I don't know how, but I know that it will. And so it's a constant building up the thick skin, to keep hearing the no's, to keep hearing no, 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 no. And having to ask myself, at some point I had to say to myself, all right, what do you want? You have to weigh what it is you want with who it is you're choosing to be. What kind of body do you want to live in? What kind of adjustments are you willing to make your work happen? I cut my hair and started relaxing my hair, perming my hair. I had gastric bypass surgery and lost like 100 fucking pounds. I did the braces to get rid of the space in between my teeth. I didn't do the mole though. I had to draw a line somewhere. I didn't do the mole. And you know, I got work. I got work. But I wasn't, there was something that was, there was a void. Because I felt somewhere in my being there was this understanding that I had to do all of these things in order to work. And that was a real struggle for me, you know? And that has been a through line throughout so much of the work that I have done. Anyway, I'm in LA, I am on the West Wing, I'm earning a shitload of money, and I have no idea what to do with it, because I had always believed that in order to be an artist, you had to struggle, and you had to have nothing, right? Because that's what I've always had. And now I have a shitload of money and I have no business sense whatsoever. And I just pissed it all away because I didn't ever see myself as worthy of earning this. All I saw was the hustle. I didn't know what to do to actually receive. I knew how to give it out. I knew how to give the best performance, but I didn't know how to receive the benefits of it. That wasn't a part of the training. I never saw any of that when I watched my ancestors, my people. I never saw the receiving, and I only saw the struggle, so I didn't know what to do with it. So I peed it all away and was broke again. I seem to have been more comfortable there. And when you're in your 30s, it doesn't matter, because I don't have any kids. I'm not having children. And I wasn't married. I was, so what do I need? If I can't pay my phone bill, so what? I'll go with it. I could eat oodles and noodles or whatever, for whatever. I didn't need it, right? As long as I'm working. But there was something missing. There was something in me that was missing. There was something that wasn't happy about what I'm doing. And work just stopped. Work stopped for a long time. Because there was something within me that just was not. And then I got pregnant. And I was 39, and I was just looking at my life and saying, okay, I have all of these credits, I have this work, and I have no money. I'm not happy. What am I doing? And it was the most beautiful wake-up call. Because sabotage is a real thing. And I recognize that throughout my career, I had spent a great deal of time sabotaging the work. I would hustle like crazy to get the job. And then when I got it, like I was saying, I didn't know how to receive it. I didn't know how to enjoy it. And then people started looking at me, you know, with the expectation. You know, when I'm the underdog and nobody sees me coming, I'm so much better. But now when I'm getting all this work and people start recognizing me and seeing me and they're expecting the work, that scared me. And many times I've sabotaged and, you know, just to, But here I am at 39 and I'm broke and now I'm pregnant and, you know, what do I do? And there was about a 7-year period, it started turning around year 7, where I had nothing. The way I explain it is, Spirit said to me, I have given you these gifts throughout your life. I have given you these opportunities and you have pissed on them. Okay, no worries. That's your journey. Now let me show you what life is like without these things, these gifts that I have given you. Let me show you that. And for 7 years, I couldn't get a job to save my life. I almost quit. But it's funny. That's the way Beautiful Spirit works. Like, when I said, I'm done, I'm quit, I would get a little guest spot on Medium. And then when my son was born, I would hear, not until he's 2, not until he's 2. And I would scrape, just struggle. And at 2, I got a job in Colombia doing some Lifetime movie, earning pittance because I had to pay for childcare back in West Covina, so it ate up all my money. But it was just little things would come along during this dry period that would keep me holding on, right? But it's a lesson I needed to learn. I needed to see my life without this gift that I've been given. I needed to understand that what I have is a gift and that at any point it can be taken away from me. And I needed to honor that gift if I wanted to keep it. And during that time, it was really such an emotional cleansing. It was a time for me to really get in touch with what do I want and who am I and who am I really? How do I feel about my body, about my whole self? I had to come to terms with and embrace and appreciate and love who I am so that I can stop apologizing, so that I can stop running away, so that I can just be who I am and allow the work to come through me in the manner that I was being asked for it to come through me. Because it's not about me. I had to learn that. It's not about me. We as artists, we are given a gift. We are vessels for truth, I believe. And the problem comes when we get in the way of that being a vessel thing and we try to claim it as our own, that this is me doing whatever. It has nothing to do with me. I am a vessel, and as long as I continue to be that vessel, it works. But the moment I allow ego mind to get in the way, then it becomes about my body and about my hair and about my teeth and about my blah, 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 and it's none of that. Anyway, I was able to fight back and get the work. And one of the first things that I got then was Ray Donovan. And it was only supposed to be 1 episode. It was a guest spot, 1 episode. And I really had to talk myself into, I am not going to shy away this time. I am not going to run away. I'm going to stand there and allow people to look at me. I am going to let myself do this and just be there. And I did. And because of that, they wrote another episode, and it was what it was. And then there was Nightcrawler, and then there was all the different things that we understand. And then Crazy Ex-Girlfriend came along. I haven't sang in I don't know how long. Well, since Ragtime on Broadway when I graduated school. And And I love singing. I've always wanted to sing. And here comes this opportunity, but it is asking me to stand front row center, stage lights, sing. It was the most intimidating thing I'd ever done, because I've had that awakening now, and I know, but there are still those demons inside of you, and I had to fight for that. All of that stuff you see on there, what you didn't see is me in my dressing room saying, I can do this. This is who I am. I am made for this. I am made of this. I am going to say yes, God help me. I am going to say yes, God help me. Please let me just, God help me. And then, okay, let's do it. That's what that crazy ex-girlfriend experience was. Every one of those songs, that was supposed to be a guest spot. I was supposed to be a therapist on like she was supposed to have a session, like 1 or 2 sessions, and it morphed into that. And then from that came, what's it called? Snowfall. Snowfall, the job that I'm on now, where I'm a series regular, again, earning a shitload of money. But thankfully, I am finally in a place in my emotional development where I'm able to get out of the way and allow the work to come through as it's meant to come through. This is not an easy journey. Being an artist is, I think, one of the most it is, I think, one of the greatest truth serums that we could ever have as people. And it's not easy. It is not easy. But as long as we remember that it is a gift that we have been given and we have a job to do, we're being asked to do something bigger than us. Take it out. That was the lesson I had to learn. Take it out of me so that the truth that needed to be told could be told. I hope that sharing my journey with you will help you understand whatever the struggles are in your experience. It's worth it. And allow yourself to go through that journey, to go through that fear, the pain, the doubt, the not enoughness, so that you can be the artist that you were meant to be. Because there's so much available to you once you allow yourself to say yes. Thank you.
That was phenomenal. I'm like sitting there spellbound the entire time. I think now we would just open up the floor to questions that you might have for Micheal. And there we go. Can we have that mic brought around so that people could just come up to it and... Make it live. Project from your diaphragm.
How you doing? Yeah, I'm a entertainer. I would call myself an entertainer. Producer, somewhat of a producer anyways. Just to get by in the business. And you were talking about the director's telling you about MC Cool. Yeah, and artists as yourself. Yeah, it's basically what it is, self-conscious. We all entertainers and actors suffer from self-conscious. Now, the best way to get over it is just try to lose your nervousness or shyness, meekness on stage, and be yourself. Don't watch whether you're fat or your nose is too long. One of my featured films is entitled, it's a national film by one of our national leaders of the country, our first leader, Marcus Garvey. And the film is entitled Marcus Garvey, the Legend. And the screenplay has been written already. Basically, what I'm in need now is support and finance. So I don't know if you can give me some advice on where I can go to get some. I know there's one of them is called Chase. You've heard of Chase?
Okay.
Yeah, but Chase is an American. I'm thinking of going indie with this film.
Okay.
If I can.
Yeah, thank you so much for that question. All right, so, I'm sorry, I went off on tangents, but one of the things that I wanted to say is one of the things that really, really excites me about this shift that I was talking about, this new vibration that's happening. I had a chance to sit down this last week with one of the founding members of the Jamaica Film and Television Association, who taught me that this JAFTA is looking for Jamaican artists, Jamaican writers, direct filmmakers, cinematographers, gaffers, sound editors, whatever, from the top to the bottom. There are people in this country who are as good as anything we could find anywhere else. And we are, through JAFTA and through the many different organizations, Manifesto and Institute of Jamaica, we are coming together and making use of our skills. Instead of looking to America for what it is you want, or to the UK, it's right here. So I would encourage you to, and I know they have, I believe she was telling me there is some kind of, and I'm not going to say this right, but annually there is some kind of competition or a search for Propeller. Here we go. You can talk on that, please.
Well, JAFTA Propeller is actually a short film competition. It pushes you from the writing point of view, because you have to write a treatment, and then from that, five people are chosen who get to turn it into a script, and they're given a certain amount of funding to turn that script into a short film. No, I'm hearing you. But for JAFTA Propeller, the project has to start as a treatment, and it can only be shot as a short film. It does not fund a feature-length film. So you can shoot the short film, which I have found can be beneficial when trying to pitch a larger scale project, but you'd have to find a way to get your script to work as a short film in order to push it further. We have not launched JAFTA Propeller for this year yet, but I would advise you to keep an eye out for it, because trailers, short films, those kind of things are really beneficial in trying to push a film.
And if
it's still not going to be enough.
If it is that particular project does not fit the qualifications for JAFTA, if you are a writer, you will write again. You have another project in you. Keep JAFTA in mind, because they're looking for artists like you. If you're willing to do the work, they are willing to support you. So get to know JAFTA, because the community that you're looking for is right here. Yes, my dear. Yes, my dear. Right here.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, darling, I'm sorry. I didn't see you standing there. Forgive me.
It's okay. All right, good evening. All right, so my question is that if you want to, or do you believe that it is best to attend acting school if you want to get into mainstream acting, or, I don't know. Mm-hmm. Do you believe that's best?
You know, for me, it was my journey. I don't tell you how I got into school already, as an accident, earthly understanding. And having that education from undergraduate and graduate school was my journey. But I can promise you, my journey is not the only journey. So there are many, many artists that I know who are what one would consider successful in this industry, who did not go to university and study. They took acting classes, they found somebody, a teacher, whose work they trusted and believed in, and that person guided them. The best thing I would say to you is get into a class, get into a community of artists here, and there are those people. Again, I would ask you to reach out to JAFTA. Even if it is that you're not the writer that they're looking for, every filmmaker needs an actor, right? Get into that community. Find out where the resources are to fuel your passion to be an actor, right? The best thing for you to do is to get into that community so that you can hear things and you can figure out where it is you want to be. But it is here.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Alana Leslie. Just to say thank you so much for sharing so openly and honestly. You spoke about divine guidance, divine order, and I believe that I was meant to be here today. I'm an actor, singer and presenter who lives in London, born in Jamaica, but I've been living in London for 12 years, working, etc. And yeah, I actually gave up a few years ago, and I'm in the process now of starting back again. I never really gave up because you mentioned that somehow even in the quiet times you always had the things that come up, which I can relate to everything that you've said. Yeah. Every single thing. My parents are here with me today, so but every single thing you've said I can relate. And I just wanted to ask you, how do you navigate that need to prove yourself to others in terms of proving yourself as successful? And also handling rejection as an artist. You spoke about obviously or calling or I guess I don't like to use the word profession, but or assignment as being one, which comes with very many challenges which are kind of niche to what it is that we do and what we're called to do. Yes. But how have you, I mean, you spoke about it a lot, you know, but if there's anything else you could share in terms of navigating that need to prove oneself and navigating handling rejection.
Oh, my love, thank you so much for saying that. Thank you for being here. I so understand. I understand. Yeah. How do you handle rejection? You just do, because you don't have a choice. Because you decide for yourself that this is where I belong. And even though 65 other people have told me no, I know I'm going to listen to the voice within me that says yes. That's all I had. Believe me, that is all I had. I remember when I was pregnant, and I told my family that I was pregnant. These people who love me to death, and I understand it came from their fear for me and for my child, right? Because, you know, the realities of being a mother and stuff. And they said to me, you gotta quit. You gotta go get a job. You can't keep doing this. You're living for somebody else now. You have to live a respectable life. You have failed at this. What are you going to do? And I remember how painful it was to hear that from the people who love me the most. And I thought that I should quit, that I should go get a secretarial job, or I should go back to home health care and go take care and try to clean catheters. I swear I did. But there was a voice within me. Every single time I wanted to quit, or I just couldn't hear a no anymore, or there was something in me that knew. And you just have to listen to the voice within you. We all have that voice that is guiding you. Call it a voice. I call it spirit talking to you. I call it ancestors talking to you. Somebody tapping you on the shoulder and saying, look here, right? And thankfully I've begun to learn to rely and to listen to that voice more often. But in those times of rejection, dude, sometimes I would just close the curtains and turn off the light and sleep as long as I could sleep until the depression passed. And then when I can't take it anymore, I forget up. I have to keep going. What else am I going to do? There's nothing else in my life that fills me the way my art does. So you get up and you try again, and you keep bloody trying. And I promise you, if you really give it your full self, it will pay off. It will work. It takes a great deal of sacrifice. It takes a great deal of soul searching. Because it's not just a matter of memorizing lines and showing up for the audition. It is deep soul searching to get to the core of your truth. Because that's when you can truly speak somebody else's life, right? Once you do that, it's going to work. I promise you that. Keep going. Yes. Hello.
How are you?
Well, thank you.
So, curiously enough, I would have been one of those persons watching you running around pulling switches at the Jamaica Broadcasting Corporation. Hi, Shadi. So, you said two things that I actually wrote down. Because in your introduction, you spoke about the various nationalities that are in you.
Yes.
And when you said sabotage is a real thing, that spoke to me about the personality and the person, the individual. But when you said, I learned the struggle, I had not learned how to receive. I believe that you were speaking to the Jamaican mindset. There's a part of us that I think is trapped in the notion that we are in a struggle and that Jamaica is underdeveloped. All of these little titles that were handed to us that are not the truth, but we believe in this thing about not enough, not having the resources, and we keep on reaching out to have somebody give us something or do something for us. And I would just like to ask you to just speak to that peculiar, particular way of being that has us trapped in the art of struggle when we have more resources and talent than we could ever use.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, you know, don't ask me the specifics, but I saw a show. I was invited to see a show recently here. And I was so excited, you know, because, you know, I grew up in theater and blah, 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 and I really am just, you know, loving this vibration. And I was really struck by this show, disappointed by it, because in my mind, we are so far beyond this. What are we doing, we Jamaican people, doing here? It's not so much telling the story, and it was beautifully told and stuff, but we're so much bigger than that. Look, one of the best advantages I have as an African person in America is the Jamaican mentality that I brought with me. That was just a part of my being. I used to hear people in America say that there's this sense of entitlement that we people walk around with. I guess because we were emancipated many years before the American people, and we understand our power to a great degree, a greater degree than African people do. And so they saw me as uppity or whatever it was. And I'm saying that to say, and then I come back to Jamaica and I'm seeing the challenges that we perceive, we Jamaican people perceive, and I don't get it, because we do have so much. We have so much to offer. You know, when I was talking with someone, I was trying to create a program to do just this, create a program for actors and artists or something. And I created this proposal. And someone said to me, I presented it to someone, and they said, this is a great idea, but unless you're a celebrity in America, they're not really going to give you the attention here in Jamaica that you deserve, because it's the celebrity status that brings, people's consciousness. And I'm thinking, but why? We all have so much to offer each other. Why do we need a celebrity from America to come and tell you that you're worth something, that you're so amazing? And this is why I'm so excited about what I'm hearing about JAFTA, because here are a group of people who recognize that we have skills and they're already here. So instead of reaching out to the other countries and looking for what we already have, let's hone our own stuff and do our own films, write our own scripts, shoot our own films in Jamaica, tell our own stories. So I hear you, and it has frustrated me that there is that consciousness. But as I said, I really do believe there's a vibrational shift. I really do believe that. And I'm talking about JAFTA because that is my consciousness right now. But whether you're a part of JAFTA or not, there is a shift that we can all dig into. And it's just a matter of claiming your worth. Do you know? It's just a matter of coming together and taking value in each other and talking to each other. And there aren't any cliques. It's just all of us trying to create the best art possible. That's when, but I think the shift is happening. So let me stop.
She's there a little brief. Yes. Have her under permit.
Sorry, forgive me.
Okay. For clarity, so we know the order. You've been watching, so tell me. This young woman who has the mic, then? I know that Keon was right after a while. Then you. And then we'll move it over here. Okay, thank you.
All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you once again, Ms. Hyatt, for speaking to us about my name is Cody Ann Brown. I'm an aspiring actor as well, and thank you for sharing your experience with us. Now, it's no doubt that Jamaica has the talent, and it's beginning, as you say, the shift is happening, and we're starting to see that talent across all borders, whether it be directors, writers, actors, kind of making names for themselves and so on. But I mean, even to the fact that you can see auditions from, for example, international companies. I've seen a lot of Netflix auditions actually happening in Kingston in this last year or so, multiple different ones, which is very interesting and intriguing. But one thing I found is kind of hard as an actor is that I've not been able to find, like how you say you have backstage and you have places online where they post all these different casting opportunities. I haven't found a centralized place in Jamaica. I don't know if JAFTA has one already or they're working on one, but because I've seen things heard by word of mouth, which is not very reliable because sometimes people bad mind and want to keep the opportunities to themselves.
Sure.
And then two, it's a chance thing. So for example, I'll hear about an audition the day of or an hour before it ends and so on.
Right.
Or you'll see it on Instagram. You have some accounts that have dedicated themselves to posting these opportunities, but then again, not as consistently as opportunities are actually happening.
Right. All right. So who in the theater and film community, is there somebody from JAFTA? You're the president?
I'm director.
Director. How do you find your artists? How do you find your actors?
I'm an actor who started her own talent agency because of that very thing where I felt like a lot of opportunities were passing and a lot of talent weren't being represented properly and getting what they deserve. My advice would be to try to attach yourself to a reputable talent agency.
That's my second question.
They do exist out there. You can come to JAFTA. JAFTA can inform you of the ones that are reputable versus someone who's just trying to put some money in their own pocket. I know on the website itself, we do want to start addressing that, where like if there are auditions for short films or commercial work, that we can also put it on the JAFTA website so that you don't feel like it's being kind of held away from you, the information, because a lot of times a talent agent will only send out to their actual talent. So if you're not part of that agency, you may not know unless they're doing a wide call. And that's when they put it out on their Instagrams and whatever. So, I mean, my best was come to a JAFTA meeting last Thursday of every month.
I actually saw that, and I've been trying to get to a meeting for a while, but I do have
or you can email us. If you can't make it to a meeting, email us with the questions. Okay?
Right, thank you very much. Yes. That's beautiful. Can I just say, I love that. That's what I wanted this to be. I mean, yeah, I receive your appreciation of my work and my journey, but really what I wanted was to create a circle of communication among all artists. And I love that you stepped up and said, how do I get in? What do I need to do? So bravo, take advantage of JAFTA and whatever else there is, whatever other resources, and make sure when you do that, you bring your work. Because it's easy to make the connection, because once you've asked the question, the yes will come. And now you've got to bring your work to it. No excuses, because the excuses are a waste of time. What we do takes a lot of hard work. And if you waste your time with excuses, step aside. There's somebody behind you who has worked a bit harder than you and who will do the work. So as you ask for the how, make sure you're ready. Because now that you've asked, it's going to come to you. Are you ready? Yep. Okay. Yes, love.
Can you hear me properly?
Yes, no.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, good night, everybody.
Yes,
and
love.
to Miss Hyatt, I love your father very much. Okay. What brought me your attention, you're on television, is the first I'm actually seeing you there. But then I heard you said, Micheal, your name is Micheal.
Yeah.
And then you talk about how you put the name on you, like because of Michael Jackson.
That's right.
And then I remembered as a child, I was always dancing like Michael Jackson and singing, and they always put me back on stage, for doing that. But my parents were in England, and in Jamaica, my aunt and my grandmother didn't like that, because they wanted me to turn doctor and all of that.
Right.
So when I'm dancing and doing that, they never supported me. And when they asked me in school what I want to become, and I said an actress, everybody put me aside, like that's not important.
Yeah.
So because of that, I didn't really follow up with it, and I become an accountant, auditor, and then my husbands were artists, like that paints.
Yes.
Milton, George, Cleaver. Yes, and then I'm an artist too, because my father, Simmons, he was an artist at the same time with Ralph Campbell and all of that. So we have that creativity about us, in the arts. Paint, yes, and I paint, and I'm also a JCDC painter.
Yes.
But then I lure away from it because I have to keep following up with my husband, and I have to follow up with my children who want to be lawyer, who want to do this, and I'm following their career. My daughter in the States, she's the best lawyer in the US for 2018, Safia Byers, yes. And then I have to be doing all of this, so I'm not paying attention to myself. But then when my daughter was in Rising Star, Littlest One, Money for Gus, I kept writing songs for her. And she watched What's the Verdict on Roots FM 3 times and all of these things happening. And then I still not doing anything for myself. I keep concentrating on them. But I found that I keep writing songs and writing things, poems, and all of these things I keep doing. So it just came to me, I said, am I too old? Can I do something for myself? I writing about Oprah, writing about people and poems, and I said, but then I see on the television, and then I said I wanted was to come to this, but I had to go to the National Gallery first, the exhibition,
right.
And I said I have to come because I want to see you. I want to ask you, in my spirit, is there a chance for me?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, let me explain. And I'm so glad you asked that question. I'm 49 years old, right?
Yes.
I spent a lot of time running away, as I have shared. And so as a result, I am at the height of my career, 25 years beyond where I should have.
Yes.
Do I care? Not a damn. You come to it when you come to it.
Yes.
Everybody has, like I said, their own journey. When you come to that part in your life where you are willing, where you're ready, then do it.
Yes.
There is no rule about the when. I know if you're ready to do your art, and it sounds like you've been doing it vicariously through your children, and that's beautiful.
Yes.
But if it is something that you want to do, there are people your age. People are telling stories about people my age, my size, my this, my that, your age, your size, your this. Nobody cares.
Yes.
If you're ready, then be ready and do it. There are no rules.
Yes.
Only thing that is important is that you bring your work.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, that and only that is what they care about. You're going to walk into a room and you bring it, you commit yourself, body, mind, and spirit, and bring that truth. You're going to blow them away, and they're going to know that you're the person for the job. And they're going to love that you are in your body, your age, your whatever, because you're speaking the truth of that character.
Yes.
It doesn't matter your age.
Yes.
Please do your work.
Yes, thank you.
Hi, Keon Vaz. There's a saying, if you don't use it, you lose it. And I wanted for you to explain to me what was it like that couple time period where you weren't working. Because I've been unemployed before, waiting by the phone to ring for someone to give me that opportunity.
I had to give Om the chicken, and I ate the bones. At least he was being, there's nutrition in bones. Even in those times when it didn't make any sense for me to keep moving forward, I did it because I knew in my being that it will work at some point. And so you deal with the rejection any way you can, but you keep moving, and you make that little moment that you have, even if it is one audition in a month, you make that the best performance you could ever possibly give. And then you keep walking. Let it go. And just know I gave it my all. And make sure so you did give it your all. Because when you start to doubt yourself, when you walk in there second guessing and stuff, you've already given the role away. You just have to keep moving. There is what you're saying, if you don't use it, you lose it. It's not true. That's not true. As long as there is breath in your body, it was meant for you. That is your truth. It don't go nowhere because you haven't used it. I don't believe that at all. I don't believe in you get one chance or you get two chances. I believe that if you say yes to whatever it is your truth is, that's your truth. It's something you were born with. It's not something you got when you got here. It's something you came here with. That doesn't go anywhere. And as long as you tap into and believe and make the yes to that truth, it will show up for you. I truly believe that.